I was on social media today and I seen some stuff, and it was like, everyone knows EPW, right? So one of the premier feds in the country from Perth, run by Davis Storm. Davis is a great guy. Great guy. I actually reached out to him today as well because he's such a nice gotten along with him. And it's like these people just like absolutely just destroying EPW because they've got this big show coming up. And they had like a rumble match or something. They've got like 46 men appearing on the show and 2 women. And people are in a fucking uproar about it. And like,
now, is this 2 women on the show or 2 women in the rumble?
It's 2. I don't know what they're doing on the show. I haven't gone into it that deeply, to be honest, but it's 2 women like performing on the show. Now, like, then I seen like this person posting more and more on social media, like an absolute outrage going off their fucking dial. And it's like, this person came after me after the original Tyson Gibbs interview, right? And called me like all these other things and like saying all this other shit. And I'm like, seriously? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like whoever this person is, and I do know this person, I have seen them on shows, and it's like they do announcing and reffing and stuff like that. But it's like fuck, like seriously, like are you like this generation of social justice warriors and jumping on social media and just getting so burnt up and getting frustrated. It's, you know what I mean? Like getting that angry over something like this is just like, it bewilders me, but it's like,
I was going to say, I've met this person too, and I've had nothing but lovely experiences with them. I wonder if we're trying to create problems where there aren't right now, like, to be honest. And I'm not saying that, obviously, I would love for more women to be competing in wrestling on cards and on big showcases. But sometimes it comes down to a matter of availability and a lot of other things. There's a lot of other things in play here. Now, we know in Sydney that there is only really one company that uses a lot of female talent. And a lot meaning 4, 5, okay? Like, and are those people going to Perth to try and trek it to go and do that? Are they free? Are they available? Are we talking about this? Are they not asked? Like, I think we need people who are, and no offense to this person, maybe, I understand the concern, but maybe they need people to a bit more educated on this issue.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the thing is, like, I read this person's tweets and stuff, and I just go, man, like, you know, this is the person, and they're like, oh yeah, like where I trained, they really supported me and stuff like that. But I worked a show with this person where she basically shit on everyone there. And I wasn't the only one standing there. Like, I wasn't the only one there that heard it. And I can bring on people to this podcast now who were sitting right there when it happened. So, you know what I mean? You want to be a social justice warrior when it suits you, or, you know what I mean? Like, and look, I'm not trying to attack this person or anything like that, because, like, obviously this is something that this person feels very strongly about. I just think they need to have a look at how they present themselves on social media, because they do look kind of, if you are in the business, like, and you go on like that, that's not one way that other promoters are going to look at you and go, yeah, I want to book this person.
Like, book them out of fear, maybe. Fuck, I don't want to get cancelled.
But
as you want to be represented as a talent?
Yeah. As you were saying though, like, and this isn't me trying to sound sexist or whatever, like, shows these days, if you've got 2 women on the show, you're lucky to have 2 women on the show. And like, I look at EPW's results and stuff like that, and usually they've only ever got 2 women on a show and 1 female manager. Like, they don't book 3, 4, 5 women's matches on each card.
No, but like, there's not many companies that do, and when they do now, like, we're seeing more intergender wrestling, so women are actually getting, you know, opportunities to, you know, work with everybody and not just, okay, no, well, you know, you're a woman, sorry, we don't have another woman for you to wrestle, so now you've got to, you know what I mean? Like, you have to miss out. Where these performers now are able to develop, and I feel like women's wrestling today worldwide is in a lot better place than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed with that.
You know,
I think for me, like personally, I look at women's wrestling, and I know a lot of people that say, behind closed doors, women wrestling is terrible, and I'm like, well, you can't say that, because you go on to the last you look at the last WrestleMania. Tell me what the best match that whole card was like, and tell me it wasn't Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. Tell me it wasn't that. Like, given the chance, women athletes can have incredible wrestling matches. And I agree, but it comes down to availability. We need to have a full education on what's actually going on behind the scenes in this scenario, as opposed to attacking the company, reaching out to them behind closed doors, as opposed to attacking people's public images. You might think you're standing up for the right cause, but at the end of the day, you are, in one term, burying the industry at a time when it is growing so surmountably, and it is trying to be as inclusive as possible.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's all about being inclusive, and that's the thing where it's like I asked the question to a promoter who's going to run a all women's show in Melbourne, and I said, "How is that all inclusive?" You know what I mean? Like, I think I want to celebrate women as well. I want them to be a part of the show as well. But why do we have to segregate people due to gender? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the norm now is that, like, I don't like, you know what I mean? Like an all women's show or all women's promotion, that would, like, imagine if we had an all men's show. Hey, we're going to hold an all men's show. Like, that would not be socially acceptable. And I feel like we need to be inclusive, and we need to understand from both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say I'm not the biggest women's wrestling fan. I'm not saying that I've got an issue with women's wrestling. It's just, it's not my cup of tea. But mate, as you said, like, these days, as we've always go back to, wrestling's the buffet, wrestling's the ice cream shop. Like, you've got to be able to suit. Some guys love women's wrestling, some guys don't. Like, but you got to give it to the people who love it, or that it's gonna becomes the attraction as well. Just like a tag match, like a hardcore match, a death match, blah blah blah.
I'm of the belief, and I've always said this, and I stand on this, and I will die on this hill with this statement. A good worker is a good worker, regardless of being a male, a female, a non-binary, black, white, whatever. A good worker is a good worker. If you can go in there and get over and have a good match, regardless of gender, if you can suspend belief of the audience, you have done your job and you're a good performer. Just like a bad performer is a bad performer, regardless of being a man or a woman. And I've said this 100 times over as well. I think Jess Troy is one of the best workers in the country, regardless of male or female.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, most workers these days are more talented than they used to be. Female workers are good. Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Like, I think we don't want to have like one women's match. One women's match can come across as a token match sometimes, but I think it more comes down to the way their styles. Like, the way women were presented in 2003, 2004, bra and panties matches, Sable, Tori Wilson, Playboy cover shoots, all that stuff. Like, we've come a long way since then, and we're going to keep continuing to evolve. But we can't be looking at problems when they're more just happenstance as opposed to actual serious problems. Like, I would not attack EPW in this circumstance. I think they're doing a great thing. They always get consistently great draws. The talent are putting it on. They're absolutely fucking putting it on for the world to see. Like, they are one of the sleepers in this thing. One of the sleepers for us, because we don't see them because they're in Western Australia.
And and you know what? They don't stream either. Like, they may have just, but I remember speaking to Davis Storm, and it's like, if we can't do it at a high level, then what's the point of doing it? And that's where I'm like, damn, man, like this, you see so much like wrestling worldwide that is out there, that is like streamed out there. And it's like the production of it is so poorly done. The filming of it is so poorly done. And for them to go, you know what, our product is great. If we introduce this, is it going to really accentuate how great this is? Or is it just going to detract from it? And look, I can honestly look at, and I love, like, dude, I can enjoy all kinds of wrestling. But like I said, bad wrestling's bad wrestling, good wrestling's good wrestling. As simple as that. And I feel like for me, I think the best people possible should be booked on the show. regardless of men or women. And if there's more women, then more women should get booked. Like, I'm one of those old school people, but I can also have new school values where I've said before, I can enjoy intergender wrestling. I love to sit down and watch it. Would I let my kids watch it? Probably not, because they're too young to understand it. As an adult and for adult entertainment who can get it and understand it, yeah, if you can sit back and just let yourself enjoy the moment of what you're seeing, you're underway.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think it is, Torture? What do you think it is?
I'm going to be straight up. I feel like a fish out of water. I don't know who EPW is. I think that's probably on my end. I've got no idea. And, you know, like what I think Akel hit the nail on the head. Like, one of the things we got taught when we were in training was the greatest ability you can have is availability. And that could literally be all it is. And that could literally be the dead doornail. Is there's just no one really available. So we are creating a problem out of nothing.
Yeah.
And I think so, and I just think when you do these sort of things, you're pushing a lot of women away from wrestling, trying to say that it's a bigoted thing. You're really pushing it, like you're telling women, don't come here. Look at this. These are just men that are going to be men, and you know, oh, there's the trainer's going to try and grope you in a wrist lock. Like, no, that's not what's happening. Like, so by actually making this a problem, we're turning away female wrestlers or female people females that want to be wrestlers, and you're creating a divide which I think is utterly fucking stupid.
Yeah, fucking 100%. This cunt.
Because honestly, like, think about it, and it is a valid point. How many, like, you go to a show, it's almost a custom that you got two women. But if we keep creating these issues, you're going to have no women because, let's face it here, we're all going to get old, we're all going to get grey, I'm going to blow a hip out, Akel's going to break his neck, Sarge's going to grow a brain, and we're all not going to be able to do this. And there'll be men to fill our spot. We got so many talented girls now. If we preach to them now that this is gospel and this is a bigoted sport, what happens when they go and it's their time to hang it up? We're fucked.
Yeah, exactly right.
And as bad as it sounds, that's how you need to look. If you don't look towards the future and you're looking behind, it's absolutely, you're never going to fucking get anywhere.
We are going to have a situation soon because of the way WWE presents its product now and the way that more female audiences engage with WWE. We're going to have a situation soon where there's going to be a lot more girls rocking up to wrestling training.
Good.
And we have to have this in this people's mind, in the landscape, that this is not a bigoted sport. This is something where you can feel included. This is something where you can come and be a part of a team and earn your opportunity much like everyone else. And I feel like the more we create public outcry when we're in a time where our scene is so strong in Australia, people are getting signed, I don't think it's the right move to just fucking go online and blast people for, two women or whatever. We will get there. There's other reasons. We just need to have someone who's, no offense, more educated on the topic, I think. And maybe I need to be more educated on it too.
100%. Robbo Entertainment says, I think that's the point. So many great workers not getting a shot because EPW are sticking to the old token women's match thing. Are they, though? Is that their mentality of booking? I don't know.
Well, none of us do.
I don't know.
I think that relates back to your point earlier that we don't know what's behind closed doors. We can only speak of what we're seeing. For all we know, EPW could have asked every woman wrestler in the goddamn country, and only these two were available. So I don't think it's fair for any one of us on the outside to say, yep, that's what they've done. If they come out and said, yep, that's what we did, we just put a tokens women match on, then okay, you've opened yourself up there. But until we know that, who are we to judge?
And at the end of the day, like, it's David Storm's pencil, it's David Storm's pad, and he can write down whatever card he wants to write because it's his show, it's his pen, it's his pad, it's his canvas. Like, exactly right. If he wants to put on a women's match or only put on one women's match and have only two women, then that is his call. Like, this turns into a lot bigger of a situation than what it really needs to be, because it should, like, end of the day, if he wants to book two women, he books two women. If he wants to book 14, he can book 14.
He's got 48 guys working for him for that next show, and I'm guessing that's because a lot of them have got a tryout coming up, and they're going to take advantage and see who's there. And you never know who shows up to shows while they're out there as well. Like, mate.
Well, look, you know what, and I feel like this. There are companies out there like Newey Pro, PWA, MCW, and there's others, and I know people in the comments are going to roast me for not mentioning a certain promotion, but like there are companies out there that showcase women very, very strongly and very, very well. You know what I mean? Case in point, and I'll repeat myself, Jess Troy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's the queen of the mountain over at PWA at the moment, and rightfully deserves that spot. And like, you know what I mean? Like,
she's in the same position for Riot City.
Yeah,
Delta's doing the same thing
and MCW, and she's even I think a double champion in MCW as well. So you've got to, you know what I mean? Like, how about we appreciate the women that are actually doing really, really well? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right.
And there's a couple of unsung ones out there as well that maybe aren't in that scene that are rolling around. Like, I'll give a shout out to one of the best women wrestlers I've ever seen. Gimmick names escape. Catherine Nixon.
Oh,
She's honestly one of the greatest women. I couldn't believe. I watched her at an AWF show and I was blown away. It was
she killed us, bro. She buried us. She got match of the night. She fucking put us all to shame.
And that's also
100%.
She's also got 25 years experience as well.
Well, that's probably another thing up the sleeve too. But I picked her brain. But that goes to show you, if we're a bigoted sport, I wouldn't have picked her brain. I would have been better than her, wouldn't I?
100%.
Yeah, exactly right.
100%. Dude, you know what?